Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. How did Mr. Z not have his notes ready? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Mr. Z. Okay, let's get those notes up. Boom. All right. All right. We are good to go. Okay. So, um, there's a lot going on. We have Big Kev tagged me in a video I watched about South Korea. I mentioned it in a previous video. It was actually really good. I want to go into detail about that in another video. Um, BGS tagged me in a dope little post from Democracy Now. I think it was in Democracy at Work or Democracy Now. I can't remember. Um, and they were speaking about neoliberalism and yeah, and actually I shared a video on my community tab where Bad Empanada is going at Harris. I forgot his first name. How did I just forget his first name so quick? But yeah, because he's pretty much doing the bidding of the World Economic Forum. So yeah, yeah, right. So some of these people that you think are lefties, or some of these people that you think like might have your political interest at heart, you got to check in every once in a while and see who's funding them or who's backing them or who's you know sponsoring them and who's in agreement with them, and then ask yourself why. Right, like why are these people in agreement with you, huh? Anyway, right. So I say all that to say, ooh, black men talking money. And once black men start talking money, things start changing, right? So actually my comment was, ooh, black men talking about the money on a macro level. Oh man, this is when things get dangerous, right? So yeah, so when things get dangerous, once black men start talking about the money on a macro level, y'all know how this go, right? And that's what we're doing over here, right? So it's not just small talk, little talk. Black men talking neoliberalism, markets, commodification, exploitation. Yeah, that's what the black manosphere is talking about over here too, right? So yes, we have a contingent of brothers definitely that speak about personal responsibility, individual uplift, do for self, rugged individuality. Of course, we have those brothers in this space, duh, right? Like that goes without saying. But also in this space are those of us that speak about these things on a kind of macro level, excuse me, and how these things affect us and what's going on, right? So yeah, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, right? So something else I wanted to note, if I can remember. So okay, yeah. So we're gonna give the definition of commodification. I've given the definition of commodification before, and let's be very clear. This is a response, or me kind of giving my own take on the funky academic, also known as Army Ose Frimpong, and his conversation about Tim Scott, Cory Booker, and Raphael Warnock and them being single, and how only 10% of senators are single. Or I don't remember if he said senators in particular or all of Congress members, but um, 10% of them being single in general. But here you have three black senators that are single, right? And, you know, Army goes into great detail about, or not even great detail, but just like he kind of illustrates for you what it may take to become a senator and how it's a precarious fight. And there's no hardcore guarantees. And if you lose, you did all of this for just about nothing, right? And Army speaks about what type of woman needs to be standing next to you for this kind of ambiguous, like, uplift or vision that you have, right? And obviously you have Warnock who's on the left, you have Tim Scott who's on the right, you have Cory Booker, who, many people question his sexuality. Either way, these three black men, senators, single, and what does it take? What does a black woman have to be willing to deal with partner to a black man in America, right? And is she built for that fight? Now, Mr. Z has already called these people cowards, right? I already told y'all what I think about these people. They really not about it, right? They're not about it. And I would argue that's why these brothers are single, right? Particularly for the ones of them that actually want a black wife, right? Tim Scott, if I remember correctly, he was dating a white woman at one point. But either way, particularly if they want a black wife, it's a difficult fight, right? Because what does she see as success, and what do you see as success? If success for her is nice things in a nice neighborhood, looking down on other people, waving her class position around as a weapon, right? Driving Range Rovers, sending her kids, your kids, to private schools off of your money, probably. Then, if that's her vision of success, and your vision of success, which might not be achieved, is some type of like political vision that even if you become senator, you might get a crumb of, right? Outside of the prestige of being a senator, if that's your vision of success compared to her vision of success, y'all just are not going to align, right? And these are my words, kind of reinterpreted, going to what Army was saying, right? So let's give the definition of commodification so I can, kind of tie that into why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, right? So commodification describes the process by which something without an economic value gains economic value that can replace other social values. The process changes relationships that were previously untainted by commerce in relationships that essentially become commercial in everyday use. Become commercial in everyday use. It changes the relationship that was previously untainted by commerce. Huh, right? Now, I make the argument that black men have been commodified pretty much as they were being captured on the west coast of Africa. I'm also making the argument that in the black community, what you have is an intra-racial commodification, not interracial. That's white folks, and we already established that white folks been commodified you. Um, what I'm arguing is that there's an intra-racial commodification of black men by other black men, but namely by black women, right? That's why Mr. Z says you're nothing but a walking wallet to some of these people, right? An overglorified guard dog and a walking wallet. They don't know how to assess you in any other way. The particular women that we're speaking about do not know how to see your manhood and your humanity and your masculinity in any other way, right? This is why they hurl insults, insulting your masculinity, your sexual orientation, your humanity, if you even have any, to them, if you're not a producer the way they think you should be, or if you don't move the way they think you should move, or if you don't act the way they think you should act, etc., right? And Terrell said, so relationships become transactional. That's exactly what I'm saying. And so I'm tying this to what Army was saying by saying, well, if you live in a neoliberal order, right, that has put a price tag on everything, including men and masculinity, right? And who gets to practice masculinity and how we mock poor men, right? For a lack of masculinity, because obviously you're not a provider, right? I'm saying that in the game of love and sex and relationship and marriage, if the opposite sex decides to commodify men, if women decide to commodify men, then yes, this becomes extremely transactional, right? And it benefits the attractive and the young for women, And those that are deemed not so attractive, it throws to the wayside. But those women too have bought into the commodification of men. They're just mad they're not getting what they think they deserve. Right? So let's read the commodification, the definition of commodification again. I'm going to go into some of the other things that I have to say. Once again, commodification. Commodification describes the process by which something without economic value gains economic value that can replace other social values. Let's say it again. Replace other social values. Let's say that one more time. Replace other social values. Hi, Ebony K. Williams. Right? Hi, Chrissy. Let's continue. Um, replace that can replace other social values. The process changes relationships that were previously untainted by commerce into relationships that essentially become commercial in everyday use. Right? So over here on this side of the Black manosphere, we're talking about revolutionary politics. It's not just about the women. We're fundamentally speaking about the relationship between men in the state, men and women, and men in the marketplace, I guess you'll say. Black men in particular. And what social contract is the state, it are women and the marketplace going to sign with men in the 21st century, black men in particular, once again? Right? We're speaking about revolutionary politics. We're actually asking the questions, we're actually forwarding data. This is not just about our sex organs and who doesn't want us. Unlike other spaces that all they do is intellectualize desirability. And they try to make it seem like they're speaking about this in a way deeper way than they actually are. Mr. Z, is this your way of saying that their real issue is that they're not white women? Yes. Right? Black men in the Black manosphere are actually speaking about something more than our sex organs and who doesn't want us and who's overlooking us. Right? Black men in the Black manosphere are talking about loyalty for real, not just what celebrity black people are doing with their members, with their sex organs, and then getting all up in a tizzy because this black woman just showed up with a non-black man on the red carpet somewhere in Hollywood, and we feel like it's an affront to us and our black manhood and our black masculinity. Right? So let me say that it differently. We're talking about loyalty for real, not just celebrity black people or celebrity black men, like how many of the women are doing, celebrity black men and what they're doing with their male member. We're actually speaking about whether black women, that's your wife, that's your girlfriend, that's your loved one, can weather the storm of black, excuse me, sorry, y'all. It went out on me. Wait a minute, I'm still here. I'm still here. We're actually talking about whether your girlfriend and your wife and your female loved ones, your black female loved ones, whether they can weather the storm of black political uplift, knowing that you might lose. That's the question. Can black women deal with the pressure? 21st century black women, can they weather the storm of what black political uplift actually looks like? Not just writing a book and going on the Breakfast Club talking down to blue collar black men, right? And waving your finger at blue collar black men because these niggas don't have enough money to buy you and your delusions because you don't know what love is. So you only know resource acquisition and how to spend money and yeah, and how to have your affection bought and your attention bought, right? We're speaking about Betty Shabazz and Coretta Scott King. That's what we're talking about over here. And for black people that swear they're revolutionary and they're forwarding some, revolutionary concepts, these people are y'all are not. First, no, you're not. Secondly, you ain't really about that life. Because being about that life means that you know that you may go out like Darren Seals. There's a reason why he's not here, and the three women that hijacked the movement. I really wanted to say something else, that's why I paused. Right, that's discipline right there. The three women that hijacked the movement, there's a reason why Darren Seals is no longer with us, along with the two other brothers, compared to these women. There's a reason for that. Better you, you're ahead of me, you're ahead of me, you're ahead of me. And Better You says, you mean endure a degree of hardship? That struggle of, we're too good for that, LOL. Exactly. Exactly. And now you see why I call it the commodification of black men, right? These people's politics is vapid and empty. They have a very vapid and empty politics and vision. Translation, they don't stand for nothing, right? I could say it, I could be verbose, right? I could use the high dollar words, but no. Very clearly, they don't stand for anything for real. That's why their politics is vapid and empty. That's why it's usually surrounded with their sex organs and desirability and who ain't checking for them at the club or at school. And why can't they be put on the beauty hierarchy next to the white woman or above the white woman, right? You listen to these people speak, and unlike the Black Manosphere, they're not speaking about the war in Ukraine. They're not speaking about de-dollarization, right? They're not speaking about stagflation, right? They're not speaking about any of that, which, by the way, affects them in their life. The trade war between America and China, right? The news scramble for Africa 2.0. No, you go on these people's channels and they're so ultra consumed, excuse me, with once again desirability and who's having sex with who and who's dating who, right? And gender performance and being sexually fluid and non-binary. That's what they talk about over there at nauseum. At nauseum, and it's nauseating, right? These people challenge nothing, right? For the people that we're describing, it's sexual liberation as a form of revolutionary politics and attempting to get the government to subsidize it. That way, what men, heterosexual men in particular, think won't matter, right? Let me say that again. Sexual liberation as a form of revolutionary politics and attempting to get the government to subsidize their sexual liberation and their liberation from you, black man, and what you think and feel, right? That's why they want the government to be so involved in what they do and to regulate you, right? This is what black revolution has been boiled down to. Sexual orientation politicking, right? So you have the Chrissies of the world who tell you they're either polygamous or polyandrous while dating non-black men and then punching down on non-black men. That is what black politics has been reduced to. Speaking about colorism and desirability and the aesthetic of things while practicing polygyny or polygyny or polyandry, and taking every chance to defecate on straight black men because you claim straight black men are colorists. This is black politics, right? And yes, better you was ahead of me because my next point was they don't believe in the struggle, which puts a new meaning to no struggle love. For these people, they already won, and I'm ahead of myself right here because I actually know I have that part as a of the notes, right? For these people, they already won. They already reached the finish line. The finish line was to be able to shop, and this is where my inner-racial comes out, right? And this is when some of the entrepreneur brothers. This is a point that they actually do make. For these people, for these particular women, they already won in many respects because their fight was always just to be able to shop where white women shop and just to be able to buy the type of things that white women buy and to have sex with white men in the open, not literally in the open, but without having to hide, without having to be the mistress, right? This is the political project for them. This is what it's been, right? That's what it's been. And for them, they're winning. So yes, you have primarily black men and some black women actually speaking about black people being able to walk on the streets and not have to worry about police harassment, not have to worry about some random racist vigilante that done read way too much racist stuff on the internet coming to end your life just because, right? So while black people are speaking about changing the entire way this country thinks and moves, that way black people can have a safe place to live, that includes both in the black hood and outside of the black hood around America. You have other people, once again, like Chrissy, that after the shooting at the store in Buffalo, she says, "This is why I don't gather around black people. This is why I think we should scatter. This is why I don't try to be nowhere where there's too many black people." Why? So that black people could be targeted individually? What? Right? Because when black people are by themselves, they're so much safer, right? Huh. When black people are around a sea of nothing but white people, or when black people are around a sea of nothing but non-black people, period. Yeah, that's it. That saves black people. Meanwhile, your children all through the suburbs are dealing with identity issues. Uh-oh. Your black children that you sent to the white schools in the suburbs are dealing with all type of identity issues. Chris, you want to talk about colorism? Your dark-skinned daughter got all type of issues with her race and her skin tone now because you thought you were doing something slick by sending her to that really nice school. So yeah, she's being educated and she's safe from violence, except for the mental kind of violence and the emotional kind of violence that the young white kids wage on her daily. If you don't believe me, go look at the dark-skinned sister that was crying in her car because the right white frat bro played her. Where you think we get her from? So tying all of this back to the topic at hand, Mr. Z called these people petite bourgeoisie, the petite bourgeoisie of the black community. I called them that for a reason a couple months ago. I wasn't being facetious. Couldn't get it out. I wasn't trying to be funny. There you go. Right. I was not, that was not a joke. I wasn't trying to exaggerate. No. Warnock was married, wasn't he? From what Army is saying, his wife filed for divorce like the day after he filed to run for Senate or something like that. The people that would be the conservative black woman that would and should be Tim Scott's wife, the more liberal black women that would and should be Raphael Warnock's wife, the whatever type of black woman that would be Cory Booker's wife, we'll say, right? Train tracks, right? They weren't willing to go through it with them. For those men to potentially lose. Let's not forget, as Army said, when did Michelle seriously consider divorcing Barack? After he lost to Bobby Rush, right? And there you go, right? And there you go. Someone in Army's comment section said, so no more Coretta Scott King. I'm not gonna say there's no more. Mr. Z won't go that far. But a dearth of them, oh yes. Right? A dearth of the, oh yes, definitely. Because what does it take to fight for black people? You have to know you might get offed. You might get killed. You might lose a job. Shout out to Better You. Like I told him this a few weeks ago. Tell him if I'm lying, Better You. If you about black people as a black man, your wife has to know you might come home without a job. If you stand up for if you a person that stand up for black people, you have to know as a black wife, your man may come home without a job. And that might last a little while. Not without a job for just a week or two. No, for a few months, maybe a year or two. You have to know that he might get blackballed from entire industries. Oh yeah, it's that real. See, if you really about pushing the envelope and changing something, the powers that be you don't get to do that without paying some type of real sacrifice. There's some real, not this little soft fictitious thing y'all call sacrifice. No, the sacrifice might be your life, it might be your career, it might be your livelihood, it might be your marriage. Uh-oh. It cost Warnock his marriage to become senator. If you're really about black people, if you're really about forwarding something revolutionary, or even if you're just about getting into a very elite space as a black man, and your politics aren't vapid, it's going to cost you something. Now, if your politics is surface level and you ain't challenging anything, yeah, you might find the right white person to fund you. Oh yeah, they'll back you all day if you ain't challenging nothing. If you charismatic enough, shout out to Barack Obama. Ooh, goddamn, Mr. Z. If you charismatic and you well spoken and you ain't gonna change nothing, oh yeah, you get some rich white person, right, to back you. The Democratic Party will back you. The Republican Party will back you, so they can say they're not racist. Oh yeah. But if you saying anything real and you actually challenging power, it may cost you. No. Not may cost you. It's going to cost you. So, dear black women, get with the rappers then. Get with the entertainers. You better hope they don't go political too. But when it comes to this political project that's called Black in America, right? When it comes to actually doing right by black people and clawing back the crumbs that black people are owed in America, particularly ADOS, don't just get with the aspiring revolutionary or the person that even wants to do something different. May not be a whole full-on revolutionary. I think we throw that word around way too loosely. But someone, let's say a reformer, even a reformer is going to have to pay. Don't get with no black politics. If all you looking at is when he wins, not if he wins, but if you looking at him for when he wins, and then you get to go around with everyone be like, ooh, is that Senator Z's wife? Ooh, Miss Z, you could sit over here. We got a special spot over here, right? This is Miss Z. This is okay. She's our special guest. Y'all go clean up in the back. Make sure everything is nice. If that's why you in it, don't be in it. Because what about if he doesn't win? Or what about if it takes him 2 decades to become senator? How long was Trump looking at the White House before he actually ran and won? How long did Biden take to become president? Nixon got his head taken off just because he sweats too much. He was a man's man and he didn't want to put on all the makeup. And JFK said, yeah, put on the makeup. Right? Huh. If you ain't about that life, then it's okay. Go end up with the entertainers. Right? Betty Shabazz watched her husband get killed in front of her, y'all. And these people talking crap about, man, if y'all don't get out of here, y'all not about none of this. And by the way, if you were really about it, you would know that you might get off. Shout out to BLM. Right? These people talk a good game. They're really not about it. So to Army, I say, thank you for presenting what you presented. But we understand these people talk a good game. They're really not about it. And the only liberation they really want is for their sex organs and to be able to have sex with who they want to have sex with whenever they want it, however they want it. and to be gender fluid, right? And gender non-binary and non-conforming and et cetera, et cetera. Oh, once again, and have the government subsidize it. Even in this late date, they still feel like they're too reliant on straight men. In particular, in the black community, straight black men. Too many black women, in other words, too many black women are poor because they didn't adhere to what a black man was saying. We need to fix that. That's what they see as true liberation and freedom. Not having to care what a black man thinks or says. The liberation is from you. Oh, of course, and their sex organs, of course. Right? And give me a second, Better You. And Better You says, oh, wait, the light is already turning green? Let's see. Yeah, it already turned green. Y'all got to give me a second, Better You. Got to give me a second. Right? So it's important that we stress that the black community is still going through things politically, socially, economically in this country. We haven't all arrived, even though we have a couple of black entertainers and black politicians, right? And black people of note, black scientists, and etc. We still haven't arrived. We still ain't free, right? But the handful of us that got a couple of things, namely the women, are pretty much saying, okay, I reached my destination. All right, this is it for me. All the rest of y'all, good luck out there. Right? Act with every about when women get off the bus. They get off the bus when you tell them, oh, by the way, you're going to have to maybe be the primary breadwinner in your family. That power couple thing, that uber rich, yeah, that's not a thing. So you imagine if you tell her, you're going to be the money, your man's going to run for local office, let's say mayor or something, not even mayor, local Congress member, and he might lose. It's not even a conversation. Sorry, not even that he might lose. He's most likely going to lose. Now you understand why I said the commodification? Black men, you're nothing but a walking wallet. You don't even get to have a political imagination. You don't even get to advocate for black people anymore. I didn't even just say just black men. I said black people. These particular people are so capitalist, so neoliberal, they really bought into the idea that, no, we can't advocate politically. We got to get our money right first. And then we buy politicians. What politicians haven't already been bought? Oops. Y'all not about cultivating black politics and the young people, so that's out the window. And what would black politics being cultivated by the young people look like anyway? Kissing a whole lot of black women's ass? Blowing smoke up their ass? Right? Chastising, oops, sorry, constructive criticism towards black men? Huh. Army said some things that needed to be said. Mr. Z is taking it a step further and saying, yes, they're not about it. They're not built for it. They just want nice things. They just want to live how the upper middle class, rich, wealthy, and elite white women live. That's what they want. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about black freedom, black liberation, black people not having to worry about what the nearest white person think about them. They don't care about that, right? That is not why they're here. And the beauty of the era that we're living in and the time that we're living in is that more and more of these particular people are saying it out loud. They're either implying it, suggesting it, or outright saying it, right? And what does it mean when the opposite sex just sees you as a walking wall and overglorified guard dog? Because for them, black people have already won. Can't we buy nice things and live in white neighborhoods? Okay, well, that's good enough for me. What about all the other poor black people? Screw them, right? They should have took school more seriously. They should have been indoctrinated in the white feminist education system, right? And let's pause right here real quick. And better use is every lady I've dated, I've told them the elevator's going up. If you get off, just know it ain't coming back down to pick you up. I value the woman that builds through tough times with me. And that's all it is. And what it really is, and let's be very clear, and to army and to you, better you, they're hedging their bets. That's what the no struggle love thing is about. That's what being mad or feeling disappointed that baller and connected and rich black men aren't doubling back to pick them up. That's what all of this is. They're not jumping on the train with you in the beginning when you I said it before. When you're a $20,000 a year man, they're not interested. But once you start creeping past 65, 70, they're interested. And so when you get to 150 a year, they talk about, oh yeah, I built with him. But they didn't. They weren't there from the grind from 20 to 50. They weren't there. Once you pass 50, they start looking. Once you pass 60, they're like, okay, I might have to make a run for it. Once you get close, once you get to like earshot of 70, that's when they start running. And God forbid you're an $80,000 a year plus brother. Now they, oh, yeah, I built with him. I always thought he was handsome. He's. They're risk averse. They're hedging their bets. They don't stand on anything. Like I said, their politics is empty and vapid. That's why they think what's revolutionary for black people is to have $2,000 restaurant bills. Shout out to Paris Milan. Why do black people always got to be the ones associated with poverty? Being black isn't being poor. Kind of, sort of, yes. I'm not saying it should be, by the way. They think that's truly black being, you know, black uplift and black empowerment and black people doing well is black people having enough money to buy nice things and show off to mainly other black people, to be frank. Right? These people don't stand on anything or stand for anything truly. They do not like other black people. They look down on other black people, particularly black men. That is how you can have three black male senators single, particularly if they want to be with black women. The question is, are black men and black women politics the same? Do we actually want the same thing? Now, I don't want to exaggerate the difference, but I actually do want to give voice to the difference between the black male political agenda and whatever black women may have going on in aggregate. We're not talking about the Kareems and the Toyas, right? No. Black women in aggregate in America, black men in aggregate in America, and where our politics might diverge, right? Because black men may talk about desirability for black women. That's not really a black man's fight. Black men aren't trying to be white men. More and more data is coming out that black men don't even want white men's trophy, the white woman. Can we say the same for black women? Ooh, right? You don't see um text from black men begging some 17-year-old white woman to tell her co-host, "Hey, tell her I'm looking for her. I'm trying to talk to her." Shout out to Doja Cat. Oh yeah, but she makes it a black woman. Y'all just mad that your preference. I already know me. It's coming, Chrissy. Black woman. I know a whole lot of sisters. Oh, but she light skinned. She makes it a black woman. Right? How many black male celebrities you see pretending like they got some white woman pregnant? Some attractive white woman. Yeah, man. I'm drunk. I'm gonna go send something to her DMs while I'm drunk. Then I'm gonna tell everybody I did it. Then a few weeks later, I'm gonna double back and pretend like I got her pregnant. Hey, so a chubby. Imagine this is like what I'm describing is like, let's say, who would I have to say it would be? What white woman um do so many? Whoever the white woman that's playing let's say Scarlett Johansson. That's like Ruben Studdard trying to hit on Scarlett Johansson in front of everybody. If your politics and what you deem as black uplift stops at the door of being able to have sex with, right, non-black people, like that's where your politics begins and ends. For non-black people to consider you more desirable, for you to engage in same-sex loving relationships in your 20s, and then when it's time to be air quotes serious, the men that know that you engage in that now take you serious and make you a wife. If that's where your politics begins and ends, then your politics ain't real. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it to be offensive. If what gets your juices going is if what you find the most interesting is speaking about politics of desirability. And there's a space for that. Let's be very clear. There is a space to speak about colorism and the way things look and why do we find certain features attractive. Yeah, but at the end of the day, for the most part, vapid, empty, shallow politics. Surface level. Y'all could continue to intellectualize surface level politics and then wonder why the white women are picking off the Cory Bookers and the Tim Scotts, right? And the Raphael Warnocks. And maybe not those men in particular, literally, but those type of men. Right? Keep wondering why Michelle was the first black woman Barack ever dated. Right? If black men have political aspirations, knowing that the political aspirations aren't shallow, they just don't want to go up. They don't want to be walking through Senate chambers just for the shine. They actually have a mission that they still might lose on the way to the mission. Sorry, they most likely will lose on the way to the mission. They're going to attempt, they're going to make an honest attempt at it anyway. If black men already evaluate, yo, there's like no black women that's willing to climb up there with me, then guess what that means for black women? Right? If black men, individual black men, are looking out and they're like, where are the black women that's willing to make this trek with me, knowing that I'm most likely going to lose, but I want to do this anyway? Sorry, I need to do this. It's a calling. And by the way, I'm not only going to attempt it once, I might attempt it 2, 3, 4 times. Right? And yeah, Indigo, they can't hit Barack with the yo mama black. Yeah, they can't hit him with that. But Barack did his job and he went to Chicago and he studied black people, right? And he moved like Nightcrawler or Mystique. And there you go. And he knew how to speak and he knew how to play the game. I would like to direct y'all to his speech at Morehouse, right? And his speech at Howard. Look how he spoke. Look how he spoke to black men about black men when he was at Morehouse, and then look how he spoke to black people about entitled white men when he was at Howard, right? If you're truly risk averse, what they said, if you're scared, go to church. If you're truly risk averse, if black women have black PTSD in America, right, and they're truly risk averse for truly aspirational black people, black men. I'm not talking about black men that just want nice things. Their aspirations once again are shallow. If you're truly risk averse, then go end up with the entertainers. Go date the entertainers and hope it work. If all you want is a nice house in a suburb with your Range Rover parked outside that your man bought, and you can send your kids to a really good public school or a really good private school, Exeter or something like that, right? Then make sure you get with those type of men, right? Attempt to get with one of those type of men so that you can be on the Real Housewives of whatever the hell, right? Or Love and Hip Hop or whatever the hell, shallow ass, surface level ass entertainment that's not saying nothing, right? And that's all it is from Africa I came. That's all it is. If you scared, say you scared. If you scared, say you scared. But here's the thing from Africa I came. I think we're dealing with people that are so uninformed, they're not even afraid because they don't know enough to be afraid. If that make any sense. They're not afraid because they don't even know what enough to be afraid. They just want nice things. Now the people that I think are cowards are the Kim Fosters of the world. I think the Kim Fosters of the world are cowards, right? The Kim Fosters of the world are pretty much saying, "Yeah, black men, just get down. Look, it's working for me. I'm doing my best rendition of an upper middle class white woman. It's working for me, right?" And what Kim Foster fails to fully comprehend, even as a Harvard grad, is yeah, it's working for you because you're not exceedingly attractive and you're short, and then white women are not threatened by you. You're when a Mr. Z was joking, not joking, and called her Oprah 2.0, I meant it. There's a reason why they elevate a certain type of look, right? We know about Tamron Hall. Where was white society bigging up Tamron Hall like that? Like that? We found her attractive, and yes, she with the white dude, but we found her attractive. You try to tell me everywhere how many attractive pundits could they put on CNN? Attractive black female, but they're not doing it. Same thing with MSNBC. There's a reason for that, right? We're dealing with a different type of look. As many issues as we may have with certain black women that came from the Black Panther Party, and I'm actually going to what you're saying right now from Africa I came. Um, some of them sisters were really down. They was with it. They were with it to tote guns, to shoot out, to be the getaway driver. They were with it. Pac's mom was pregnant with him in jail, y'all, arguing a case to free her and her supposed co-conspirators, and she was pregnant with Pac. Afeni Shakur was pregnant with Pac. Asada is still in Cuba. That's who we talking about. Angela Davis, she went through it too. Now we may have our issues with her more contemporary work, but she went through it too. Right? These newfangled sisters, they not y'all look. What about Kim Foster lets you make you think she built for any of that? Khadijah, any of that? What about them make you think they're built for any of that? Paris already told you. Yanni already told you. Chrissy already told you. Nah, I'm here for the nice stuff. They're the finer things in life. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. We just know we gotta roll you over when we fighting for ours because you are our class enemy. And we're gonna have to step on you before we get to the white folks. That's all. We know you the buffer class Negroes. We know. We know why you here. We know why you here. You're buffer class Negroes. You're the petite bourgeoisie, and we're gonna have to step on you before we get to the white folks. That's all. That's why Cube is over here talking about whatever he's talking about on Roland, right? And what's her face is I got death threats, Cube. I got death threats. Shut up. That's what come with the game. Right? And from Africa I came says, I've been thinking about this stuff and why Asada Shakur was liberated from prison over the men she got locked up with. Hey, it's a really good question, actually. Right? So, I'm almost certain that Army Osei Frimpong wasn't going this far with it, right? He probably wouldn't sanction more than half of the things I've said, but taking from what he was saying, I do truly believe that America, black mothers, the entertainment spaces, academia, um, the entire education system has created a very nice buffer class of black women who actually don't have a political imagination, right? As I said before, their politics are vapid, it's empty, it's shallow, it's surface level. And if you're the elite white man, it's easy to pretty much get them to shut up, right? You take a couple of them, you make them the the model, right? Get other black women to live vicariously through them. Give them some positions, and there you go. right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, and there you go. So I was listening to the Funky Academic, and I had to make a response to this because I think it's important to consider why you have three male senators single at their age, right? And let's consider. I was gonna juxtapose Ebony K. Williams to one of the senators, but I think actually the better comparison would actually be to Army Osei Frimpong himself. Both of them date out, but one of them is married with three kids. And there you go. Both of them claim to be for black people. Both of them date out, but only one of them is married with children. One of them knows how to critique black people without insulting black people. The other one, not so much. Hmm, that's interesting. Two people claiming to be about black uplift. They both are okay with dating out, but one of them actually married out. The other one, well, too busy talking about everybody else and how horrible they are. Hmm, hmm. One of them speaks about protests, been you know, to them, says things that actually sound disruptive to the system. The other one talks more about how you should better integrate in, right? I'm talking about tech jobs, and I'm talking about the fact that 50%, it's 2 to 1 at these colleges and universities, at these HBCUs, and blah blah blah, right? And Anubis says, so they talk black and sleep white. Anubis, they talk black and sleep white, and they talk white and sleep black. Understand, most of these people that we're describing are going to end up with black men, or date black men, or they have sex with black men. They actually sleep black and talk white. Most of the women that we're describing do a whole lot of talking black, excuse me, sleep in black, but their concepts, they never actually question the things they believe and why they believe them. They don't even actually question, why are black women doing this well and black men are not? And when I say this well, we already know what it looked like for money, really. What I'm saying is, why are black men not in college and university at the same rate black women are? Why aren't black men getting advanced degrees the same way black women are? Why aren't black men in the same workspaces as black women? They're not questioning that. They think about it for 2 seconds, say you ain't try hard enough, beginning end, right? They go talk to their other homegirls about it, and all of them come to the same agreement. Yeah, black men ain't they just not trying hard enough. They're bums. They're losers, right? We took school seriously. They didn't. That's the beginning and the end of it, right? So this is what black politics, I guess, has been reduced to. I guess we'll say, right? And these three politicians are somewhat of an example of that. So once again, the politicians are Raphael Warnock, Tim Scott, Cory Booker. Now, people question Cory Booker's sexuality. We know, right? We know. And I had to juxtapose Ebony K. Williams with these people because I kept on saying, why is she single? Why is she single? Why is she single? Would Ebony K. Williams have dated Tim Scott or Raphael Warnock? I didn't bring up Cory Booker for a reason, right? Would she have married them? Would she have stayed? So, first, would she have dated them? Secondly, would she have married them? Third, would she have stayed through all the trials and tribulations, through all the calls to the donors, through all the door knocks, through all the reading of polls and, hey, I gotta make this phone call, I gotta go here, I gotta go kiss this baby, I gotta go, right, shake this hand, I gotta go see this donor, I gotta, would she? Right? Would she? And even if she did, where do her politics stand? Would she know how to play her position? Okay, let's say she would date them. Would she know how to play her position? Right? Because being the wife of a senatorial candidate, oh, that's a whole different ball game. Right? Better you. And better you says, for Warnock, she said she down if he owned the Senate. Right? Exactly. Better you also says she say Tim Scott head too pointy, hysterical. Nah, he do got a gummy ass smile though. You know the brothers that the tooth to gum ratio is a little off. Yeah, he be showing too much teeth anyway when he be around those white folks. In Creole, we call it "we toujours griller dent," which means like you're always showing your teeth, you're always smiling and laughing too much. It's actually it's an insult. It's a way of like you just be smiling around them people too much, right? So yeah, so um, it's definitely something to consider. What does black politics truly look like? And have we raised a generation of black women that are risk averse and whose politics are vapid and shallow and empty, right? It's a real question. And if we have, what does that then mean for the black boys and girls that those women raise, right? It's a real question. It's a real question, right? Have we raised a a what a good 2, 3 generations of just vapid, shallow black women who lack political imagination, who just want nice things? And I get it. By the way, like I know I've taken a tone of like, you know, poking fun at people that just want nice things. No, that's probably most people. I get it. Look, like not everything is a debate or a fight. People just want to chill sometimes and relax and just take a breather, right? And just live in the moment and not consider all of this other kind of heavy things. I get it. I get it, right? But as I said, go end up with some of the entertainers, right? Go try to date an entertainer. Hopefully, that he marry you and whisk you off somewhere, right? And if if what we're arguing is that we have these kind of black talking heads, black creatives, um, black women in particular that act as the intercessor between the black masses and elite rich white folks, and these people's politics is vapid and shallow and mainly concerned with black people's sexual orientation, then what does that mean for black men and boys? This is why, shout out to all the brothers that come in and say support black male media, because we're actually making our voices heard. And we're not going to the petite bourgeoisie that are, college educated, advanced degree having black women who have contempt for the same black men that they're supposedly advocating for, right? Hmm. This is why you support black male media. This is why you listen to different. That's why I say look at other non-black manosphere content. Check out black manosphere content because it gives you things. Things just start to click, right? It could be something that has nothing to do with the black manosphere. Something happening on in another country, right? But you can tie some of what's going on over there with what's going on with black men, right? And Anubis, thank you very much for the super chat. And Anubis says Warnock has a tax-free church. Does he? So I didn't know that, right? And when you say tax-free, what do you mean? Like it's not. But I thought all churches are not taxed. But I don't. What do you mean by tax-free, right? And Terrell said, "I've taken a sabbatical on federal politics until 2028. I don't think you have a. I don't think you have the luxury, Terrell. I don't think you have the luxury. You may not be scrolling through all the news channels getting all the info, but you still hearing things here and there, and I don't think you have the luxury to wait until 2028. right? I think um, by the time we start getting into September, if not even August, you're just gonna start getting hit upside the head for the next year and a couple of months with just everything political. As this presidential campaign ramps up, yeah, right. Oh yeah, Anubis says all churches get tax breaks and write-offs. Okay, I still get what you're saying, right? But yeah, so and that's a real question that I asked earlier. And I want to pose it again. Are we willing to admit and say that there are things that black men and black women agree on politically, but there is a place where we diverge, and we actually may actually have some great opposition to each other? And where are those lines, right? Where are those lines, and what does it look like, right? What are black women truly advocating for, and what are black men truly advocating for? What do black men need, and what do black women need, and are they in opposition to each other? And then what does that look like, right? And are black women both knowingly and unknowingly raising children who political imagination is non-existent, who are just cogs in the wheel, and who greatest aspiration is to just claim they're a black business owner so they could show off in front of other black people, um, or to get a high position so they could claim to be the first. Um, these are like ladder climbers, but they're not, excuse me, not even ladder climbers. These are mountain climbers, but they're not mountain climbers truly for the betterment of black people. They're mountain climbers for their own egos, right? They're they're, excuse me, I keep on saying ladder climbers. They're mountain climbers for their own ego. It's for the glow, for the show, for the shine, right? That's why, like, sometimes I wince when I see people speak about black excellence, especially online. Like, this is really black excellence. The fact that I could afford this, you know, this $250,000 luxury car. This is real black excellence. This real black excellence that I could afford a $2,000 dinner date. It's real black excellence that I could afford to live in a gated community in a gated community. If Mr. Z blinks his eyes today and I wake up with an advanced degree, earning $250,000 a year, I'm still not going to sound how these people sound because it's shallow. And to me, it's actually cringeworthy, right? And this is why I say, some of these black people's politics, namely black women, shallow as hell. And this is going to what you said, Trill. And Trill says, when they climb the ladders, they pulling them up behind themselves. Exactly. And you see what I'm saying? And shout out to you, Dr. Thunder. Thanks for being in here. And Dr. Thunder says, really no difference from prosperity gospel. And that's all it is. And like, I have to be careful because I know some of my subscribers, I know y'all hear it sometimes in my voice and the things that I posit. It's like, I don't have contempt for black people that are aspirational. We need black people that are aspirational. We need black millionaires. I don't know if we need black billionaires. I don't think we need any billionaires, to be frank, right? But we need black people that are doing well, right? And that's just a byproduct and an outgrowth of black people that are aspirational or black people that are obviously going to do well. But I have an issue with the propaganda because I understand it's actually being weaponized against black people. Well, you can't say we racist because I mean we did have Barack as president. You know, Robert Smith is a billionaire, and it's not even from entertainment. And Byron Allen, right? And Rihanna and Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? And you don't have the Viet Cong saying, "Soul brother, not your war," right? You don't have that when people from overseas think that anti-blackness racism in America is of a bygone era. Right? So that's why I sound the way I do when I talk about these type of things. It's not contempt for aspirational black people, entrepreneur black people, you know, rich black people. No, I'm saying I think these things are being weaponized against your everyday black person, against the black masses, you know, and even against the black elites themselves, right? We've watched Tariq Nasheed have conversations with how many racist white folks, and they always remind him and they always throw in his face, well, you got money, right? Isn't that one of the first things they tell him? If this system's so excuse me, if this system is so oppressive, then how are you where you are? There's also a conversation to be had about black people that their biggest issue with other black people is that you won't let me exploit you. Why can't I pay you $5 an hour like the white folks do, the elite white folks, right? Global Free Agent said, "I'd like to be a billionaire." Z, you can make some exceptions. I don't know, brother. I don't know about the exceptions on that one. There's not a clean billionaire on this planet unless you inherited it, and you're probably still not clean. Ain't a clean billionaire, right? But the cleanest billionaires would probably be the ones in entertainment, like particularly like a Jay-Z or whatever, maybe, right? A Byron Allen, maybe, but there ain't no clean billionaires, bro. There's a whole lot of dead bodies under every billionaire, right? And even for the black ones, there's a couple of dead black bodies under them. And I don't, maybe not literally, but like figuratively. And I don't mean like just stepping on someone. I mean crushing someone, right? Yeah, there's a reason why like I'm anti-billionaire in this space. It's not like who wouldn't want to be sitting on $1,000 million, $1 million 1,000 times, and that's just $1 billion. We're not talking about 10, 20, 50, 100. If you're Elon or Jeff Bezos, you sit and it fluctuates, right? But you sit on $200 billion. 200 billion. Obviously, once again, it fluctuates, but still. You Warren Buffett, you Bill Gates, you sit on over $100 billion. Mark Zuckerberg and them, the Waltons, right? Bill Gates' second guy, whatever his name is, I forgot what it is, right? The dude from Virgin Mobile in Britain, all of them, you know. So on that note, Mr. Z, got to do boyfriend things. Anubis said, "I'll take $900 million." Anubis think he's slick. You're right. All right, Z, you said no billions. How about 900 million? Right? Is that his name on Trail? Steve Blommer. That's the one that collects yachts, right? I think that's the one that collects yachts, right? And people talk about billionaires. I gotta close out. People talk about. I'll end out with this. People talk about billionaires like we got a zillion of them because they're always showing billionaires everywhere you go, right? There's less than 3,000 reported billionaires on the planet. Everyone, less than 3,000. Remember, we're on a planet with like 8 billion plus people now. So we're not counting the super D boy somewhere in Mexico, right? Right? Or whatever Chinese person is shipping the fentanyl to America. So his money can't be counted legally, and him be put in, Forbes. We're not counting those people, but recorded three less than 3,000 billionaires on planet Earth of 8+ billion people. So let's say it again: less than 3,000 billionaires, right? So it's interesting for me and DA to be agreeing on something. Yeah, all these black billionaires popping up, and it's still less than 20. I think me and Black Uru, we go back and forth about this, but I think we're kind of in agreement on this one. It's less than 20. At least, like, air quotes, legal billionaires, right? It's less than 20, right? So we'll end out right there. And Dr. Thunder says going live in a few minutes, talking about the hands that guide the hands. That's a good that's that's a good topic. I'm gonna try to listen into that. Right? Intersection between purpose and meaning in the black community. That's actually a good ducktail to what I was talking about. Good. Okay, so let me end out. Okay, so let's pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Thank y'all for listening in. Go check out other non-Black Manosphere content. Well, let's say that other way around. Go check out Black Manosphere content like Dr. Thunder, and go check out other non-Black Manosphere content for the love of God, so that maybe you don't raise kids that politics are shallow and vapid, and yeah, that part, right? Could we please, not have be raising shallow? I mean, unless you just want your kids to just want nice stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting nice stuff, right? And living it, like, I really mean that. I'm not trying to be like mock these people, right? I was really annoyed earlier because after listening to Army speak, and I started really thinking about why these brothers really don't have wives, and you know the divergence between black male politics and black women politics, and what are we actually fighting for, and what are they actually fighting for, right? So yeah, so we'll truly pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day, right? And Trell said, I suggest doomsday prep. We're gonna have to have one of those, like, straight up doomsday stuff, right? I'm gonna get my inner Dimcat on for all of you that have been following Dimcat as long as I have. So we'll truly pause right there. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Y'all go check out Dr. Thunder and other black men in the Black Manosphere. All right, everybody. Mr. Z out.